If you have ever struggled with placing intricate prints or Intarsia designs onto your knitwear in CLO3D, just trying to visualize how they're going to look and fit in real life, then this is a video for you. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey through CLO3D's new knitwear tools to show you how you can bring those creative visions to life digitally. So in this video, we'll explore how you can seamlessly add those placement prints or Intarsia onto your knitwear, all while leveraging CLO's incredible fabric simulation tools to achieve those realistic textures, prints, and designs. So whether you're a seasoned designer or you're completely brand new to digital fashion, this technique will truly elevate your workflow and unlock some really creative new possibilities. Let's dive in. So here I have a basic roll neck sweater that I am going to be using for this demonstration. At the moment, I just have basic fabrics applied here, just do basic fabric for simulation. But I'm going to add on the new knitwear onto this so that we can visualize how it is going to look and we can add the Intarsia. So I want to add in for my first fabric, which is my main fabric, I'm going to add in here a stockinette. So I select my fabric in my object browser and scroll down in my property editor to my fabric type. And in here, I'm going to change to knitwear. When you select the knitwear, you will get up a new list of different types of knit that you can use. And there are 10 new types of knitwear. For my first one, I'm going to use stockinette. And I'm going to have my gauge at 12 stitches per inch. This is the one that affects the size of your knit. So if I was to go lower, then it would be a much looser knit. And if I go higher, it is a much tighter knit. In this case, I do want to have a tight knit, so I'm going to keep it at 12. And I am going to keep my yarn thickness at 2. I'm also going to change my ply thickness to 2. And I am going to keep the colour as white for now, but I will change that later. The next fabric that I want to change is my collar and cuffs. So I will select on the next fabric down and I am going to change this to knitwear again. And this is already at 2 by 2. I could change this to another if I wanted to, but I'm going to keep it at the 2 by 2, a nice chunky rib knit. So if I wanted to add a print to this, the standard method that you would normally apply on your pattern pieces, placing a print doesn't work. So if I select one of these, select the placement for my graphic, and then select my artboard. Click OK. I've already scaled this, so it will be to scale. Once that has placed, you can see that it is there. If I zoom out, you can see it from a distance. However, due to the thickness of the knitwear, it is not visible. Even in the render window, it is not visible. So this is not a good way for you to place any graphics onto the knit. So I'm going to just delete that out. And I'm going to show you how you can actually place onto the knit. So if I go back to my fabric window, and I'm going to select on the stockinette, adding anything like a print, a stripe, or a repeat print is super easy. All that you need to do is scroll down in your property editor until you see the base color map. If you click on the 4 windows here, the little icon, then you can load in an image file or an AI artboard. Click OK. and that will apply. It takes a little bit of time for it to load in the 3D window, but once it does, you can see that that is instantly applied. There is this high level of sheen that is on there. It might be the effect that you are looking for, but if it's not, it is easily remedied, so don't worry about that. If you scroll down until you see the roughness and the metalness, these are the two that will control the reflection there. So if we up the roughness, you can see that it becomes duller, and we can play around with the reflection intensity as well, just to get that right, as well as the metalness, until you achieve the level that you are looking for. I do want this quite matte, so I'm going to take it down quite a bit more. That's much better. So that is as easy as it is if you are applying any kind of repeat print. If you do want to add a placement, it is a little bit trickier. So if I wanted to add a placement, I'm going to delete this out. I go in exactly the same method. So I'm looking for the base color map again, and I am going to load in using the 4 little windows. And I'm going to show you what happens if you load in without a background. So the key here is to make sure that you actually have a background on your image. The first thing that I did to make sure that my placement prints were to scale was to export a snapshot of my 2D patterns to scale as a PDF and then loaded them into Adobe Illustrator. Then I've placed all of my prints exactly as I want them onto each pattern, and I've also got a little Pantone color chip here for the base color that I want for my knit. Then I have completely removed the outline for the pattern piece. If you keep that there, it will show when you load it in, and then you will have black outlines that you really, really don't want. So best to have those without. But if I try to load this in now without any background at all, I will show you what happens. I select the artboard that I want, and you can see that it has instantly taken the opacity away from the pattern, and it has become completely transparent, which will make it look black. So if this does happen, that is because you need to add in a background color. So I'm going to delete that out, and I'm going to load in the one that actually has the background color. So I have a background one here. I'll open this in, and now you can see that that has been applied. And when you zoom in, it also has the wonderful texture of the knit underneath as well, almost as if it is an Intarsia pattern. One of the issues that I have here is that it's not placed correctly. The way to remedy that is to go back into the fabric, go into your base color map, click on the 3 dots, and load up your texture editor. Once you are in the texture editor, just make sure that you have selected on the actual print. And this will allow you to move around the location of your print. Now you can see here that it is kind of working in squares. This is because of the tile repeat. If you want to stop that from happening, if you go to the repeat section just here and tick on this extend to other side, that will then duplicate your pattern. It will mirror it across, and then all you need to do is move it into the correct location. You can also change the scale here. And continue to move until you are completely happy with the placement. The one downside here is if you had a placement print that you want exactly on each area, so every area is different, your sleeve is different to the front, etc., then you would need to create a separate fabric for each pattern piece. So I will show you that as a little bit of a demonstration. I'm going to save those changes. And I'm going to exit out of the texture editor. So if I wanted to have a different repeat on my sleeve and on my back, for example, then I would add in another fabric. So I'm going to rename this as the front. I'm going to copy that over, and I'm going to now have this as the sleeve right. And all I need to do is, with that selected, scroll down, select my base color map again. This time I will need to load in the print again. So I will go back to my original file location, load in that artboard. So that is this one, layer 1. I'm going to apply that to that sleeve. I will need to go through exactly the same process again. So I go into the texture editor and select the print. And now I'm just going to reposition this a little bit, and I'm going to move this more into location. Make sure you tick to extend to the other side, because what it does is it wraps around the sleeve as it would in 3D. It needs to wrap around. So if the extend to other side is not ticked, you will get this line down the middle of your sleeve, just because that's the way it's wrapping around from the bottom to the top. So let's tick on the extend to other side. That will extend it around, and then we can continue to reposition this as we like. Actually going to bring the scale down a little bit again. I feel like it's brought it in a little bit bigger than what I wanted. Now, like that. I'm going to save and close that. So you would repeat that process again for all of the other pattern pieces. You'd want to do your left sleeve, your back, and get your placement perfect for each, renaming your fabric for them each time. Okay, so now if I wanted to do a bit of a recolor, then I can select here. I'm actually going to bring up the color dropper. I'm going to open my window, and I'm going to select the green color. And close that. And I'm going to do the same for this one as well. So get my eyedropper, select the color. Let's do the same for the rib. There we go. We have a perfect Intarsia design that is loaded onto our knitwear with all of the textures and everything that we want. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have found this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel for more digital fashion content.